Hi there. Today we're going to talk about mind, body, spirit. Now, if you are anyone, I'm sure you've heard the term mind, body, spirit. But I want to break it down and I want to make it a little more practical. And we're going to look at it in a couple of different ways. First of all, it's important to understand that when we're talking about spirit, of mind, body, spirit, that I'm putting, and keep in mind, not everything goes in a neat little pigeonhole, but for our purposes here, we're putting spirit in the realm of energy. Okay, and energy, in my opinion, comes from God. It comes from the universe. It comes from the ethers. So that's the spirit part. The mind part is our thinking, but it's also our unconscious thinking. The body part is our physical nature, our flesh and bones. But I'm going to give you the caveats first. The caveat is that mind also is inside your body, and mind is also inside your spirit. And what's going on with your body affects your mind and affects your spirit. And spiritually, energetically, it affects all three also. I just want to be clear on that because I don't want you to listen to this. And as human beings, we are very programmed to think and feel like everything is linear, like it's noon now, it's 2 o'clock now. In the quantum field, there is no time and space. In the spiritual realm, no time and space. It's all right now. It's all right now. Won't it be nice eventually not to have the constraints of time? I think so. Not that I'm in a hurry to get there. The other way I want you to look at this, and then we're going to break them each down, keeping in mind they are not pigeonholed. But the other way that's really important to understand is you have, just as we have many dimensions in the universe, you as a human being have many dimensions as well. And I haven't gotten really deep into the work. I don't anticipate that I ever will, because my role is to make the mystical practical, and there is plenty of work to do in the third dimension to help people understand enough to evolve. There are plenty of people who need to just begin embracing the very basics of spirituality and mysticism and energy work. So that is my wheelhouse. That is my purpose on the planet. But if you feel like you're already at that level and you want to go deeper, there are some authors who I have great respect for. Donna Eden is one. She sees all the layers of the different dimensions. There's another one, and I'm sorry, I can't think of her name. Anyway, she's been around for years, and she sees all the layers. But let's just look at the levels that affect us right now. Okay, that's really what we want to do. If we are so evolved that, we're floating on water and levitating and manifesting in an instant, then we might want to pick up a textbook or take a class and learn about the 15th and 14th dimensions. But right now, let's just work on these three, shall we? It starts with the spiritual. You are energy. Energy, you are electromagnetic field, spark. You are a spark of the divine before you are a body. Energy informs matter. And a lot of people get stuck on that. And we're going to give some examples. We're going to give examples with both health condition and wealth. So you are energy first. Then you are emotion. But we're going to put emotion with just blended in there because we're going to do mind, body, spirit. And it would be across a couple of them because they're different, right? So you've got spiritual, you've got the energy, that forms the body. And then next after the emotional body comes the mental body. That's your thoughts. That's both your conscious and your unconscious and your subconscious, which is actually your body. And your body is your flesh and bones, your tissues. And if you wanted to look at that in a more scientific way, I could say like this. 99.9% of an atom is energy, waves and particles, the ether, right? It appears to be empty space, but now we know with our super microscopes that it's not empty space. It's just energy. Atoms are the building blocks of molecules, and they're the building blocks of cells, and cells form tissues, and tissues form organs, and organs form systems. And that's our whole body right there, right? We've got the skeletal system, we've got the digestive system, we've got the cardio, all of that. So that's how it goes. So when I say you are mind, body, spirit, it's no lie. Scientifically, you are. Okay. So here's one of the problems that I see. A lot of times people, we're going to look at it both ways. Let's say, and we'll do health first. Let's say someone is very healthy. I remember my mom, God rest her soul, she worked with a vice president who used to just drive her crazy. It was a woman. And this woman was a strict vegetarian. And we're talking in the 80s. Okay, we're talking when no one was even a vegetarian. She was a strict vegetarian. She walked, she jogged, she did all this stuff. But my mom being psychic and me being, semi-psychic at that point, but I was I've always been an empath, so I can tell, I can feel. And I knew she had pain. And my mom knew she had pain. But she was just really methodical and she was very successful. And then she got cancer. And it was just so amazing because this person who wouldn't even part her lips if it wasn't, and back then we didn't have the poisons in our food that we do now, but she was very, very conscientious about her food, and she juiced and she did all this stuff that is just now kind of considered healthy eating, but back then she did that. And so it was that experience, and her name was Lee Ray, I remember, but it was that experience, seeing that happen with Lee Ray, that I got the ping that there's way more to health than our body. If there's emotional and mental and energetic disruptions, and we came to find out that she had been molested when she was a child. We didn't know that at first. So these things, they get stuck. They start in your energy field, and then they go into your emotional body, and then they go into your mental body. And then because we have to survive, that is the name of the game, your unconscious says, let's shove that way back into the subconscious, which is your body. So now poor Lee Ray had this energy block in her heart that caused this cancer in her lungs. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so it's very easy, and we'll do illness first. It's very easy when we have a chronic condition to go one way or the other. I know people who go way off on a bender of, I'm only juicing organic celery juice, and I'm grounding every day, and I'm doing all this, and I'm only eating this, and I'm doing acupuncture, and I'm just doing all this because they're thinking that they're just their body. And I will say, to their credit, that a lot of people need to get back in their body. So kudos to them for addressing that. But they're leaving out mind and spirit. And I shouldn't say if they go to acupuncture, because that is kind of a spiritual, energetic thing. But you get what I mean. If someone has a chronic condition, and the good example is they go on Amazon and they just look at, or not Amazon, but they just go online and they buy all these expensive supplements. They're trying to address a chronic condition from just one level, and that will never work, not for long. It has to be addressed though, because look, when you first get sick, when you first get an illness, a chronic condition, I'm not just talking about a flu or a cold, because we could go off for hours and talk about all of this, but I'm talking about a chronic condition, a disease, whether it's cancer or lupus. It starts in your energy field. And we have to look at this, you guys, we have to look at this from a couple of different ways. Because remember I said it's like a trilogy. It's like all three of them. It's the Holy Grail. It's the Trinity, mind, body, spirit. So in the energy field, this disease starts and then it goes into the body. Now, by the time it manifests physically, it's matter. It's seemingly solid. It's way more of a dense energy than when it's up here in your energy field. And so you're going to have to address the body. You're going to have to, whether it's taking supplements or juicing or, going to yoga or whatever you're doing, you have to address the body because it's manifested in the body. By the time it's gotten into the body, you've got to address the body. Make sense? Now, some of the software I use, and in radionics is a whole different matter, so I'm not even going to bring that up in this conversation because I feel like it works on all three levels, and in my experience and my research, and it just does. But let's talk about, I have scanners, bioscanners, and I can do this remotely, and I can scan someone's energy field. And let's say their left lung lobe looks really weak, and they're like, no, it feels fine. But energetically, it could be disrupted. Now, I want to say something about bioscans because I have a few of them. I've invested heavily in this research and in this study of different gadgets. And notably, they're not very cheap. Like my Healy, I think, was $5,000. The point being that, and Healy, by the way, is FDA approved. But again, when you get into the energy part, the FDA is like, nah. Anyway, the point being that I can use these devices to see things in your energy field. The problem or the challenge is that people don't want to acknowledge, oh, well, that's in my energy field, but I feel fine, so I'm going to ignore it. That's not ever smart. So how do we fix things in the energetic field? Well, this is where the mind comes in, right? Say we've got this chronic condition and we're working on it on a physical level. Now, the things you can do on an energetic level, you can use flower essence. Flower essence, if it's a good quality flower essence, and homeopathic medicine. These are things that are based completely on vibrational healing. You can do, again, acupuncture. You can have someone do Reiki on you. You can have someone do tuning forks on you, or you can do tuning forks on yourself. I every night have a big sonic slider that I got from Eileen Muzak, and I use that every night on myself, both dogs, and my husband. Every single night. It's like our bedtime rituals are really weird, right? I do yoga, back bends, I do our essential oil, and then I do tuning fork. And that's just like for years I've done that because it balances your energetic field. So, tuning forks, to me, the devices that I use are really pricey. And unless you're a practitioner, probably not something that you necessarily want to invest in. But having sessions with someone like me or getting a tuning fork for $100 and using that, you are in fact doing vibrational healing. And flower essence is a really, really great way too. Okay. But we also have to address the mind. The mind is not just your conscious thinking. I'm going to break the mind up into two ways for this discussion, even though it goes three ways, because we have conscious, unconscious, and subconscious. We're going to just forget about unconscious and subconscious, and we're just going to call it the not conscious. Okay, so we're going to say you've got the conscious and the not conscious. When you are looking at the mind when it comes to illness, what you're really seeing is what's in your past that's now lodged in your body, and you may not even realize what it is. But how you're going to know what it is how you react in your waking hours consciously. So unconsciously, you may have abandonment issues. Maybe your mom didn't pick you up at third grade and everyone made fun of you, and you were, or told you your mom's never going to come get you. And you're like, oh my God. You're going to forget that memory over time. But your body, your subconscious, and your energy field did not forget it. Depending. Like with some people, no big deal. Some people, it can get lodged somewhere in one of your meridians, in your fascia. I believe it gets stuck in your cells, your water cells. And that's part of your body. But it was part of your energy field. And it went through the mental and the emotional. Do you see how they all three work together? So we have to work. We don't know those unconscious things, but consciously we do. because the minute you get in a relationship and the guy doesn't call you when he said he would, and you freak out, and you think it's because he didn't call you, and you get on your group text with your besties, and you're like, he didn't call me, he's like all the rest. Or you get on Facebook and say, God, some people cannot be depended on. That reaction is an energetic, emotional, unconscious block, wound coming up to be dealt with. And the biggest mistake we make, and I deal with this all the time with people, is we think that all of our daily reactions are about those people and that situation. It never is. It never is. Never ever. It's always about an unconscious, subconscious, physical, energetic block that we're experiencing on a conscious level. And so this is why when people want to go to things called heal your, thinking of a disease, heal your IBS. What's the focus on? It's on IBS. How can you heal something that you're focused on the disease of it? Okay, so when we're talking about healing, first of all, identifying all three levels, working on, I'm going to just give you the recipe right here, working on whatever physical things you have to do. All right, you can look up and say, what do I need to do for IBS? What food should I eat? You know, it's not going to ruin your vibe to just look things up and collect data and then start applying it. What do I need in my diet? Blah, 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 blah. Secondly, got to go into the mind. And you're going to go into the mind like I teach meta creation. You would go into a meditative state, an alpha level, and you would float in that state. And you would feel peace and you would feel joy. And then you would see yourself feeling super healthy, being super grateful. And in that space, you begin to imprint upon your subconscious mind, which is in your body, I'm healthy, I'm well. And when you imprint that in your subconscious mind and your body, those cells will believe you. They will believe you. And you will start to heal on that level. Now, consciously, as you're going about your merry way and something smacks you in the head, like your child hurt your feelings, or your spouse forgot your anniversary, or you got a bill that you did not need, that was not for you, it was like a mistake. Notice that reaction. That reaction is connected to whatever caused the disease in the first place. Do you get that? If it wasn't the all-star, it was definitely a contributing factor. It was supporting cast. Do you get that? If I have a reaction and I'm suffering with an illness, that reaction, I got to pull that out. I got to heal that. I got to analyze it. I can do EFT, but that's part of the work. A lot of people are just like, let me just get a bunch of supplements, or let me just do energy work. We got to work on the mind stuff too. We got to bring it up and get it out. And then third, the energy. And that's what I was just saying about, you know, like I lay on my PEMF mat every single day. I do scalar every single day. But you can also have it done distantly. And like I said, the vibrational healing, you can do tuning forks. Listening to binaural beats is extremely healing. Now that is a physical and mental, but you can also listen to, you can also use other apparatus to get the PEMF, which helps your energetic body. But you can also go outside barefooted and ground. And they also have, for a pretty inexpensive, I think for $100, you can get a grounding mat. I have grounding sheets. Seems really weird to plug your sheets in, right? But there's all sorts of things that you can do that are energetic as well. So that's how you want to support yourself, mind, body, spirit, when it comes to an illness. Now let's talk about it really quickly. I'm not going to go through all that because I just explained it all, so I shouldn't need to. But let's go through it for you with wealth or your business. Let's just say more money. Money is a big deal. Now, first of all, I want to point out, and I'm going to do I just did a video. If you look, it was my last one I posted on your nervous system. Your nervous system and your wealth have everything to do with each other. Checking my time. So if you want money, I can guarantee you, if you are stressed about money, there's not enough money, you're like, what do I do to get more money? I can guarantee you that in most cases, and I'm going to say in 95% of the cases, your nervous system is activated. It's overactivated. And remember, energy informs matter, and it goes down through the emotional and the mental and into our body, and then out from our body. It goes out. It's like that's why we have our energy field as a torus. It goes in and it goes out. So when it comes to money, we know that your energy field, not your energy field. We know that your nervous system is probably really constricted, and so your first thing is body. You have got to get in your body. Most people that I have experienced in my observations and in my own personal experience, most people who have dysregulated nervous systems are out of their body. They have gone out of their body as a way to avoid feeling things, as a way to just push emotion away, to push pain down, and they live in their heads. But they live in their heads in a high beta brainwave where they're just busy, 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 go, go, go. So body, what we do, we do movement, like somatic movement. We do, and you can just hug yourself. That's very regulating for your nervous system, by the way. We do EFT. We listen to sound therapy. We do binaural beats. We do all of these things because of this. The nervous system is our brain. So you can put that in the mind category, but it's your brainstem, so it's also your body. So calming yourself down physically, let's just say that, calming yourself physically every day. With the mind, you do your meditation or your meditation. So you relax not just your nervous system and your brain waves, but you're imagining yourself wealthy. You're imagining the gratitude you feel. Now that brings up into the energy field. And now on top of that, you can do the other energetic things we were talking about. You can do your tuning forks. You can do flower essence. You can do all of those things, and that's going to have an effect on you energetically. But remember the most important thing, because it's all well and good to say, okay, I'm going to get some flower essence. I'm going to go online right now. And I'm going to buy a tuning fork. The most important thing, and it's the work nobody really wants to do, is one, you have to stay in your body. And breath work is a great way to do that. And if you say, I don't want to do breath work, you really need it. Because we have to breathe, right? But the most important thing is to stay aware. People with highly dysregulated nervous systems are so cemented in fight or flight, knee jack reactions, hypervigilant, that they're like that. They're like a cat in a room full of rocking chairs, right? They're just always like, oh, I don't want my tail under there. They're just like super scared. So the most important thing you can do, number one, is pay attention to your attention. Notice when you feel a reaction. When a trigger comes up, it is your sign from the universe. It is your sign from your mind, body, spirit to pay attention to whatever that trigger is and the reaction it caused in your body. Because again, we're going to take the three-prong approach. If it caused a reaction in your body, that's physical. Calm that. Dig into the mental and the emotional. Why did it feel like that? What did it remind me of? How can I get that out of my body? Can I do EFT? What can I do? Can I use my tuning forks? Can I hum? Can I do yoga? And then we do the meditation, and then we do the energy work too. So all of those things, it's a mind-body approach, a mind-body-spirit approach. So hopefully this video went a little longer than usual, but hopefully you found this useful and helpful. I am here to serve, and I hope that I've served you today. Have a beautiful rest of the week. Bye-bye for now.